His entire unit wanted him gone. They beat him, they threw his Bible across the barracks, they filed legal papers to have him discharged. They called him a coward, a freak, a liability. They said a man who wouldn't carry a rifle had no business being on a battlefield. Then came Hacksaw Ridge, and none of them ever called him a coward again. Desmond Doss was 23 years old when he was drafted into the United States Army in 1942. He was a Seventh-day Adventist from rural Virginia, a man whose faith was not a Sunday habit, but the organizing principle of his entire existence. He believed, with the quiet, absolute certainty of someone who has thought the question through completely, that he could not kill another human being, not because he was afraid, because he believed it was wrong. He also believed with equal certainty that his country needed him and that he had an obligation to serve. He would go to war. He would go to the front lines, to the worst places, to the places where men were dying. He would be a combat medic. He would save lives instead of taking them. And he would do all of this without touching a weapon, because touching a weapon was something he had promised God he would never do. The Army did not know what to make of him. The other men in his unit did not know what to make of him either, and what they settled on, with the brutal social efficiency of men under pressure, was contempt. He was given no privacy for his nightly prayers. His Saturday Sabbath was not respected. He was assigned the worst duties, given the hardest tasks, subjected to the kind of sustained low-level cruelty that groups inflict on the person they have decided does not belong. His commanding officers tried 3 separate times to have him discharged on psychiatric grounds. Each time, Doss refused. Each time, the Army had to concede that believing in God and refusing to kill were not, technically, grounds for dismissal. He was sent to the Pacific. He was sent to Okinawa. He was sent to a place called Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge was a 200-foot escarpment of rock and mud and Japanese defensive positions that the American Army had to take in order to advance on the island. The Japanese had built their defenses with the methodical care of people who had decided to die before giving ground. Machine gun nests, artillery, tunnel systems carved through the rock. The Americans went up the ridge, and the Japanese drove them back. Men died on the way up. Men died on the way down. The ridge was soaked in blood before Desmond Doss ever set foot on it. On May 5, 1945, his unit went up the ridge. They fought through the day, pushing the Japanese back, taking and holding ground that cost more than anyone had budgeted for. Then the counterattack came. The Japanese hit back with everything they had: artillery, mortars, machine guns, and soldiers who had been told to die taking back every inch of ground. The American lines broke. The order came to retreat. Men began to move back toward the edge of the ridge and the cargo nets that hung down the cliff face to the ground below. Desmond Doss did not retreat. He stayed on the ridge, alone, under fire that should have killed him multiple times and did not, moving through the smoke and the noise of a battle that had officially ended his unit's presence in this particular piece of hell, finding wounded men where they lay and doing the only thing he knew how to do, keeping them alive and getting them out. He could not carry a man down the cliff. A man could not be carried down cargo nets while unconscious or unable to move. So Doss improvised a system, a rope harness, a knot he worked out in the field, a way of lowering a man over the edge and down the cliff face that would not kill him in the process. He lowered men. He lowered them one at a time, alone, pulling each one to the edge, arranging the rope, sending them down, and going back for the next one. He prayed between each one. The prayer was always the same: "Lord, please help me get one more." He got 75 men down that cliff. The number, confirmed by military investigators after the battle and considered by historians to be conservative, represents something that most people, hearing it, have difficulty fully absorbing. 75 men, alone, under fire, without a weapon. When he finally came down from the ridge himself, his unit, the men who had beaten him and thrown his Bible and filed papers to have him removed, refused to advance without him the next morning. They waited for him to finish his Saturday Sabbath prayers before they would move forward. The man they had wanted gone had become the man they would not leave behind. President Truman presented Desmond Doss with the Medal of Honor on October 12, 1945. When Truman shook his hand, he said, "I'm more proud to meet you than you are to meet me." Doss was the first conscientious objector in American history to receive the honor. He lived until 2006. He was 87 years old. He spent the last decades of his life nearly deaf, a consequence of a grenade that had exploded near him on the ridge, the same ridge where he had gone looking for one more man to save. He never carried a gun, not once, not one time in all the months he spent in one of the deadliest theaters of the worst war in human history. He didn't need one. The men he saved needed him alive, and so he stayed alive, praying for one more, and then one more, and then one more, until the ridge was empty of everyone who could still be brought back. "Lord, please help me get one more." He got 75.